Hey there guys, in today's video I am going to be talking about adding texture to PVC pipe. Now there's a couple of different ways to do it, but when I built my ultimate PVC play stand, there were a couple of pieces that I designed, this swing in particular, that I wanted to be able to use both on the stand and outside. So to be able to use this outside, I don't want to cover this in anything because it would attract moisture, mold, mildew. So instead, I just want to texture the PVC directly. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to add texture directly to the pipe. If that is something you guys are interested in seeing, make sure to stick around, because that's going to be coming up right after this. Hey there guys, this is Jack over at Hi Redbird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about texturizing PVC as part of our build of our ultimate Parrot play gym. Now there are a couple of different ways that you can texturize the PVC so that it is helpful for your bird. And texturizing the perches is going to be very, very important. A lot of different birds are going to have a lot of difficulty with just slick PVC pipe. So adding texture makes it a little more natural. It's closer to what they would encounter in the wild with things like branches. It gives their feet the ability to hold on a little bit better, and it can provide more variety in those perches as well. A different foot shape for the birds, which is going to help eliminate the risk of pododermatitis in your birds or bumblefoot. You want to make sure that they are getting adequate exercise on all their feet. Now, this swing I designed because I want to be able to use it both on the PVC play stand, but also in some outdoor enclosures that I have. I want to be able to just hang it directly from the top and have it be fine in an outdoor flight cage. Now the problem is that if I cover this with something like vet wrap, which is the most common way for texturing PVC, the problem is that that would hold in moisture, it would attract mold, mildew, it would get very disgusting very, very quickly. So that is something that I want to avoid. So for today's video, I'm going to use a rasping bit on a power drill just to add a little bit of texture. Now there's a couple of notes that you guys should know about this. The first one is I am not going to be covering any portion of this. So I talked to you guys earlier about using acetone to clean the PVC pipe, to clean what you are going to see once you are done covering your perches. In this instance, I am not covering any perches. So I want to make sure that everything is nice and clean. Now, I am going to go ahead and just texturize this perch using the rasping bit. And so since this is going to make some noise, I'm going to go ahead, speed it up, but I'm going to show you guys the entire process. That way you can see exactly how long it's going to take and just get an idea of what I'm doing. All right, guys, so I am just going to use the rasping bit on a power drill to give this perch a little bit of texture. So the first thing you want to keep in mind is where do you want to add the texture? I mainly want to add it to the bottom perch of this swing. The fittings themselves aren't that much of an issue, and the risers don't really need any texturizing at all. They're going to be perfectly fine if I leave those smooth, but I want to make sure that that perch does get a good amount of texture on it. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do here. You can hold the bit on a single spot. That's going to dig out a lot more pipe. If you do that in a few places, that's going to give you some good texture. You can run it back and forth over it. You can change the angle of the bit. All of these are going to change the feeling of it. Now go through periodically and check to make sure that there is plenty of texture. If you find any spots that are still excessively smooth, you're going to go ahead and work a little bit harder on those just to make sure that there is a good amount of texture so that your bird can get a really good grip on whatever it is that you are texturizing. All right, guys, so as you can see, this method does make quite a bit of mess. Usually something like a duster is going to be really good at picking up all of these pieces of plastic because they are very, very small. Now, I am going to want to go through with something like a scrubby sponge to just go ahead and wipe down any of the little bits of residual plastic that are just barely hanging on. Of course, I usually will just go through and use my hand, and that is going to go ahead and remove most of those pieces of plastic, but it is going to basically remove them onto your hand, and if some of those pieces are a little bit sharp, it could potentially go into your hand. So if you don't have the working calluses that I do, I definitely recommend having something to protect your hand in between. So a good scrubby sponge is going to work great for this. But now I have something that is going to be texturized, but is also going to be safe to go outside. It's not going to hold mildew, moisture, anything like that. The good thing about something this size with the smaller swing, if I want to clean this, if it's outside and it starts picking up dust and dirt and gets a little bit gross, I can very easily bring this in to the sink, wash it with soap and water, and this could even go in the top rack of the dishwasher and be completely fine. I have done that before and it holds up very, very well, as long as it's a piece that will fit in your dishwasher. So obviously this is not an approach that you could use for your entire PVC play stand, but it can work on small articles like a swing or an individual perch. So I definitely encourage you guys to try this method out. Now, if you guys liked this video, if you found it useful, informative, entertaining, any of the above, go ahead, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Red Bird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!